Colorado's governor is proposing a big investment in the way we move around with the goal of reducing emissions from vehicles and getting more people off the road.
The governor was pitching that plan this morning at a light rail station in Denver. And 9 News consumer investigator Steve Stager continues to peek at the plan. Now, Steve, if this is going to work, the governor needs RTD to be a part of it.
And noticeably absent from the podium this afternoon, anyone from RTD, though there were board members in the crowd at this announcement. RTD told me in a statement today that they weren't part of the development of the governor's plan, and even though he presented it at RTD's I-25 and Broadway station. Now, Democratic Governor Polis has been pretty critical of RTD the last few years. The governor has been very vocal about RTD not finishing the train to Boulder and Longmont as promised to taxpayers when they approved fast-track sales tax initiative back in the early 2000s. And he tried to push a plan to reform the RTD board earlier this year. That plan failed, by the way. Today, the governor pitched a comprehensive plan that would increase transit service by 83% statewide. It would add some 66 million transit service miles by 2035 and increase non-vehicle trips from 9% now to 19% by 2035. He also pitched continuing incentives for EVs to get gas cars off the roads and reduce emissions. Reporters asked him if that meant no more highway expansions in the state, which he wouldn't commit to, but pointed to California.
One of the things that we don't want to have is 16-lane freeways with rush hour all day. I mean, that's kind of the joke in the Los Angeles area. You want to go 5 miles, it takes 45 minutes. Any time of day. Of course, we have projects that include lane expansion. I don't expect that to go away, but you cannot expand lanes and expect to solve these broader, enduring challenges to the way people live when their only transportation option to get where they want to go efficiently is to drive their own car.
So the governor's plan would also add 3,500 miles of bike lanes and 1,300 miles of new sidewalks. He also set a goal that 52% of new housing is built in transit-oriented areas near light rail, near bus routes where you can get around. The governor's report on this points out that RTD is lagging behind other transit agencies nationwide when it comes to boosting ridership post-pandemic. In a statement, RTD said it's already working to try to increase that number, adding more service after the first of the year. In the studio, Steve Stager, 9 News.
You talk about statewide, Steve, there's a lot of different issues. I mean, you talk about metro area rapid transit, the suburbs, and then, of course, you're talking about some of those longer hauls, Longmont, Boulder, et cetera, I-70, things like that.
And certainly part of the hope is that if a front range rail plan does move through and you get a train from Fort Collins all the way down to Pueblo, that you might be able to solve some of those missing connections that are there right now. The governor's hoping to make also some expansions with better bus routes to get from place to place. Just a lot to think about in the next 11 or so years.
Yeah, well, it's needed. We'll figure out how to do it, pay for it, all those things that come along with it. Thanks, Steve.